Hello, welcome to the Irish Independent. Well, England's 58-year wait for a major trophy goes on. Spain are the Euro 2024 champions after a brilliant final in Berlin. Dan McDonnell was there for us. And Daniel, what about that night?
Yeah, I'm. The Spanish players, as I speak, are still in the corner. They finally found the jukebox for the Spanish tunes. I was pointing out earlier on. It was like a pre-match England party here. Um, Now, like it really is only what 20% of the stadium is full, if even that. 15% maybe Spanish fans. But look, the right team has won the tournament. Um, I think obviously from an Irish perspective, we always have our own slant on England, and maybe it can be more, I don't know, hyper negative at times. Like everyone will have their own views. I didn't particularly want England to win this. I think probably, the fact that it would have been the ultimate smash and grab. I almost made the point in the piece that um, never mind how they got there by not being the better team in a lot of their games, but even in the final, they would have been getting off the ropes. So it does feel like football justice has been served, and in some ways I think that helps the memories of the final. It would have been really mixed feelings if England had gone on and won it, just in terms of how do you assess the competition. Now, it would have been a great storyline, I guess. It would have been one of the great underdog stories, except they're not really an underdog. They're a powerful football nation who probably have been pretty average for most of the competition, and it would have been like a remarkable testament to some of their individual quality if they got over the line. But the best team won, and I think the memories of the tournament will be Spain. Like I was at the quarter final in Stuttgart as well, which is quite similar. They lose a big player to injury. The other team gets an equaliser and seems to have the momentum, and Spain just keep doing their thing. And a relatively unheralded player from Real Sociedad scores the winner in both games. So there's something in that sort of. We talk about resilience for England, but there's a serious resilience in that Spanish group as well.
I think that's really the overriding feeling this evening. The team, Spain's winning 7 out of 7 games, kind of feels like football won, as you said. There can be no arguments there.
No, football is not coming home. To be clear,
That's clear.
football is just football is going to a happier place, a more familiar place. No, like it is true. I mean, they won all their games. It's very rare that happens. Like I think sort of you grow up watching competitions where you have these teams who like have wowed people along the way, but then they don't get it done. Like people would talk back in time about even Brazil back in 1982. I'm not putting the Spanish team on that pedestal, but you have competitions where you have these darling teams, or even Argentina 2006, they went out very early, but they looked like a brilliant side in the group stages. And you have these competitions where it feels like, God, they might have won it. Portugal had a couple early on in the decade as well. But in this instance, it's followed all the way through. Like people were talking in the group stage, who's impressed you the most? And the popular answer was Spain. And that team has managed to sustain it all the way through the competition. So I think take any sort of feelings out of it, or immature neighbourly feelings out of it, or any of that sort of stuff out of the equation. Like the best team has won the competition, and that's always good. I think there's no. They're quite a likeable side as well too. I mean, they're a young side. I think there's obviously a bigger debate of what they will go on to do in football as well. It's not just about Yamal and him being 17, but Nico Williams 21. Pedri, Gavi, who's not here. The profile of their players, apart from maybe defensively, is quite young. And I think we'll be seeing more of them at the business end of these competitions.
Spain becoming the first side to win 4 European Championship titles. And congratulations to them. But Dan, just looking at England, Gareth Southgate's men becoming the first side to lose back-to-back European finals. There'll be debate on his future after a really rollercoaster month. Talks about his future. Where does this leave them?
Yeah, well, I mean, it leaves them coming to Dublin in September for a Nations League B.
No, the FAI had a very timed tweet there this evening.
Yeah, like they kind of bottle it a little bit, but they called them Euro 24 finalists. Runners up would have been a bit edgier, I think. But any chance to sell a few tickets? Look, we can't be too smug about these things. Like, I think England are getting closer. Like, there's no doubt. I think, like, in many respects, if they had won, I think the story would have been this is the natural process of England being the centre of the football world. Financially now that the super academies are producing players, and you do look at it, someone like Cole Palmer, like he's won more caps in this tournament than he has before. Like, he's sort of, like, he hadn't been capped this time last year. Kobe Mainoo's playing, hadn't been capped at the start of the year. Eventually that will pay off. Clearly they've played in quite a defensive style during the competition, and you can argue they're not even suited to it. They probably lack, they're light in that midfield department, and maybe they just need to be braver and take more risks. And I think that's pretty obvious, really. You would feel like they're going to get there eventually, but then again, like, obviously it's a new generation who is now feeling a little bit of baggage from final defeats. So maybe, I feel like there's a natural sense that for all that we sort of like talk about 58 years or whatever, like the weight of the power of their game is such that they're eventually going to knock over the line in one of these, and clearly they're going to have to probably try a different managerial approach. He's got them to 3 semi-finals, 2 finals. He's clearly had a stance that brings them through tournaments, but clearly they're going to probably roll the dice and see if a different approach works for them.
And Dan, just before we let you go at the end of this Euro 2024, how have you enjoyed the tournament, and anyone stood out for you in particular?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I suppose Spain have scooped the awards. I know there's a big debate about the competition again. Oh, is it a good tournament? Is it a bad tournament? Is hurling better? Is hurling better? We reached that really stupid stage of the competition. Like, I think, major tournaments a lot of the time are about feelings. It's not necessarily like the highest quality of the game. Sometimes they're exciting, sometimes they're not. It's the end of a season. Some of the big teams are fatigued, but I'll still take away some great moments like Georgia, Turkey, watching this Spanish team. I think sometimes we lose our minds trying to analyse the tournament as it goes on. Is this a good tournament? Is this a bad tournament? It's international football. These teams aren't with each other all of the time. It can ebbs and flows. It's knockout football. It's not every year. It's every 2 years or it's every 4 years. And that's why sometimes the knockout games don't live up to it. But I think it takes players out of their comfort zone and it creates sort of unique feelings. So I really enjoy them, even if maybe the football isn't at the highest level. Roll on the next tournament, and maybe at some stage Ireland will be involved in another one.
Fingers crossed. Well, Dan, great work over the past month covering events across Germany. I hear the disco music is kind of lowered down, come to an end behind you, but the party around the streets of Spain will be going on long into the night. That's great, Dan. Thanks so much for that. You can keep up to date with all the latest football news and Euro 2024 analysis with the Irish Independent. Thanks for watching.